Hello! In this video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of capacity analytics and how it can help you to ensure that your resources are sized correctly to meet current and future business needs. Capacity analytics is very helpful to predict capacity for peak seasons, to understand when more resources are needed, and only to buy additional resources when required. So in a nutshell, it's going to help you to efficiently manage infra networks in terms of waste and overutilization. So as you can see, we have a quick summary of the status of my resources by capacity, and also it shows me the top capacity consumers. I can also filter by technology and see which metrics are the top offenders, and I can see capacity in terms of services and also groups. So this is great to understand if I have a business service that is going to be impacted by resources infrautilized or overutilized. So let's take, for example, a quick look at the ESX service. So drilling down, I can see a heat map of all my ESX servers in terms of memory usage, which is the metric that I have selected. I can also select any of the other metrics that we have in the data lake to run capacity analytics on any of them. So as you can see, we have 3 ESX servers that are running at top capacity. So we could think of moving some of the VMs, some of the loads from these loaded machines into one of the others having a low resource utilization. This heat map is showing a 12-month projected memory usage because it is the metric that we have selected. So again, if I drill down in one of these elements, we can really get very granular in terms of forecasting for each metric. So we can select which metric we want to run capacity for. We can also choose what kind of historical data, what amount of historical data we're going to use to build these projections, and we can even simulate a growth. For example, this will help me to understand if my services is able to cope with a load or growth of 40% for the next 12 months. So in this case, I can choose also to show all the metrics, and I can see the capacity utilization that none of them should worry me. They are at an informational level, so none of these metrics are becoming a risk for the capacity of the service in the next month. So we can scroll down and see the projection for all the metrics associated to this business service. All these thresholds are configurable, and we can also choose which metrics participate in capacity analytics and for which services. Out of the box, we are offering a set of common metrics in capacity analytics, so this is going to help us to get value of capacity analytics without any previous configuration out of the box. Now let's take a quick look of Predictive Insights. So DX Operational Intelligence is collecting millions of data points for different data types, like alerts, metrics, logs, event, and inventory. This huge data lake holds very interesting information about device behaviors, trends, patterns, and end-to-end data flows. So these insights can be derived by applying analytics on each of these data. So we can, for example, select for how much time I want to run these predictions, and then I will start seeing insights out of the metrics of my data lake. So in a nutshell, Predictive Insight is going to offer you a call to action based on the predicted situations or incidents that are identified by looking at every metric. Let's take a closer look. For example, we can see that this specific metric, which is memory, has presented this behavior during the last weeks. So we're building a projection and identifying how many days we have left until we meet the threshold. Again, we have out-of-the-box thresholds configured, but we can also modify them to our needs. This is extremely helpful when we try to identify like memory leaks or average response time degradation before they become a problem for the end user. So if we take a look at another metric, for example, CPU, We can see how the metric has been behaving for the last weeks and how the solution is giving us a projection and a warning to say in 4 days we might meet this threshold, so it's better to select this insight and create a ticket or run a remediation action before the problem happens. We run predictions insight for any metric coming into our data lake. So this can be infra metrics like CPU, mem, and disk. It can be application metrics like number of errors, response time, number of calls. Or it can also be any business metric or KPI, like billing information or number of contracts, licenses, etc. So I hope you have found this recording useful and how you have identified how capacity analytics and predictive insights can help us to be more proactive and remediate the issues before they happen.